Hi guys, welcome back to the 22 Teachings channel. I am excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today. I honestly didn't know if I was ever going to make this video, but then a very special certain package did arrive and I realized it is time to talk about this. It is something that some people might think is controversial. Before we get into this, I want to share a couple other things with you guys. If you're on Facebook, I really suggest that you join our Facebook group. It's a private group and it's called the 22 Teachings Signal Lamp. I will leave the link down below. What you're going to find is a bunch of other people who are also into things like tarot and crystals and metaphysics and healing practices. And it's a place for people to ask questions, to share what they're up to, also kind of share what they're going through. And, you know, sometimes people post things on there just to get the advice of other sort of like-minded people. People share pictures of their altars, their rituals that they're doing, and it's just a really great community. And then the other thing that I want to share with you guys is that on Instagram, I'm very close to hitting 6K followers, and when I do, I'm going to be doing a big crystal giveaway. So find me, Naha99, on there, and then you will be eligible when that giveaway comes. So we have something to talk about and something to open today. And the topic of today is going to be Ascended Masters. And it's not in the Ascended Masters that the controversy lies, but we will get into that in a minute. Basically, Ascended Masters, as I work with them, are high level spirit guides. And they come from all different traditions, all different cultures. You can think of them as really those pinnacle avatars in any single tradition. In Christianity, it would be Jesus and Mother Mary. In Buddhism, it would be the Buddha, it would be Kuan Yin. In the Hindu religion, there is an assortment of gods and deities. Saints can be ascended masters. You could think Mother Teresa as an ascended master, Gandhi, Yogananda, high-level spiritual teachers. Now, sometimes those are actually people that have lived on earth that really dedicated their lives to the betterment of humankind. And through that, it is said that they have cleared their karma. They have perhaps come back for multiple incarnations, and they have achieved what their spiritual self sent out to do as a human on this earth. And that means that they don't need to reincarnate. They've already achieved the highest level that they can as through their human incarnation. Yet those spiritual energies still work with mankind, but they do so from the ascended state. They do so from a higher plane. Now, some of what might be considered an ascended master can also be something like a deity or a god or goddess, a god form. And so you might say, well, those aren't actually people. Those are more sort of these cosmic masters. And the thing is, a lot of times gods and deities, actually, if you did trace things back far enough, you would find that those stories, those myths, they did begin with actual humans, and maybe it was a certain leader or a certain king that over time, over centuries, those stories, they did become deified and grow into these gods. So regardless of if we're talking about somebody that was a human or something that is a more sort of deified energy, you can think of the Ascended Masters as those high level spirit guides. And they would be perfect examples of the specific area that they work in to help to teach you more about that area. If you wanted to learn more about love and compassion, you could work with Ascended Master Kuan Yin, who is the embodiment of love and compassion. If you wanted to work with the violet flame that can be used to clear the etheric body, which we talked about back in the cord cutting video, you can call upon the Ascended Master Saint Germain, who assists with that violet flame invocation. There's any number of Ascended Masters that you can work with to help to align with your own highest self, with your own spiritual truths, and you can really feel that they can be teachers for you. The idea of Ascended Masters comes to us through the Theosophical lineage, And Theosophy was founded by H.P. Blavatsky, and she was a contemporary of the Golden Dawn, which is the teachings that I practice. So Theosophy had a little bit more of it was an Eastern kind of metaphysical teaching, but it was Eastern teachings brought to the West. And they give a very clear hierarchy and definition to who ascended masters are. But you don't have to be a theosophist in order to work with ascended masters, because ascended masters are here for everybody's benefit. And you also don't have to ascribe specifically to one religion or culture or tradition to work with an ascended master that comes from that, because they're up and above all this sort of denominations and categories. Ascended masters truly want to benefit all of mankind. Now, some of you may not have heard of Theosophy, but you've heard of Ascended Masters, and there is a person that has been a part of the New Age movement, which has really helped to popularize this idea. And you guys know her. Her name's Doreen Virtue. And Doreen Virtue has made dozens and dozens of oracle decks and written dozens and dozens of books over the years, and over her really prolific history as a metaphysical and New Age author and creator. And as many of you may know, Doreen Virtue in the last couple of years has taken a turn away from her metaphysical leanings and gone completely in the direction of strictly Christianity only. Now, this isn't an unheard of thing. People become born again Christians, and that happens all the time. And if this is her path, well, it might be surprising just because of the amount of work that she had under her belt. And she created and wrote books and made oracle decks on all different kinds of things, from angels to goddesses to ascended masters to fairies and unicorns and mermaids and you name it. She was very much into all of these things. But after becoming born again, which I believe happened right around the beginning of 2017, apparently she has renounced all of her former leanings to the metaphysical. She has removed all of that stuff off of her websites. She's replaced everything with Bible quotes only, and she now works with Jesus only. And while Jesus is considered by the Theosophists to be an ascended master, there are no other ascended masters other than Jesus that Doreen Virtue is now working with. So because of that, her old books and her old decks are no longer going to be published in that format. And I don't have a ton of her stuff. And part of that is because I don't consider myself a New Ager. Yes, I love crystals. Yes, I love tarot. But if I can call myself anything, it's a Hermetic Kabbalist. And I am much more interested in the vein of the Hermetic path, which is the path of alchemy, astrology, tarot, Kabbalah, theurgy. And that is definitely coming from the Golden Dawn tradition, which really preceded the whole New Age movement, which really caught ground in the 70s. It's just not something that ever really drew me in. I like to go a little bit older in terms of where I really dig my claws in, and especially the Hermetic path goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. So that's what I really connect with. But there are things that absolutely are New Age ideas that overlap the teachings that I am interested in. And there is a book that Doreen Virtue wrote that's called Angels and Ascended Masters. And it's basically a reference book where she has both angels and ascended masters in one volume. It's alphabetical, and a lot of times if I'm doing a healing and I see or sense a certain being or entity come through in a session, I'm not an encyclopedia of every single angel and every single ascended master. So I have that book as a reference. I actually have it sitting right behind where my reading table is so that I can grab that and say, okay, this energy, Bridget showed up. Bridget is from, I believe, the Celtic or Norse tradition. Again, not a tradition that I am fluent in. So I can look that up and find, okay, this is what this would correspond to. So that book has been a go-to for me. I even have it on my recommended reading lists on my website. And as far as her oracle decks go, even though she's made tons of them, I've never been super into oracle decks. Yes, I do have some, and I'm branching out a little bit more. But also, like I said, they are very new agey, and sometimes they're just like a little bit cheesy, to be honest, to me. You know, it's just not really totally my thing. And one of the things that has never fully appealed to me about oracle decks is the fact that, you know, every single one, maybe this is a blanket statement and it's not true, but a lot of times in oracle decks, all of the messages are good. They're all uplifting. Oracle decks are not meant to be giving you any sort of like, this is an issue, this is a problem. It's more of an affirmation or something to make you feel good about things. And I guess that's just not the reality that I live in. You know, I am totally fine with drawing a card that does not have a good message to it, because oftentimes if I'm not in a place where I feel great, I don't need to have just a positive affirmation. I need to see something that reflects what my reality is, and then from there kind of find the tools that I need to work through that and address that. But there are a couple of oracle decks of hers that I had my eyes on for a while, and the Ascended Masters is one of the decks that I had always wanted. But the thing is, it's so mass produced, it's been so available forever that I just never felt any urgency to get it, because I thought, oh my gosh, I can pick that up at any metaphysical bookstore. I can go to any town and find Doreen Virtue products. I just never felt the need to get it, and until now, because now it's not going to be available anymore. And I've heard different things, different rumors. Some people saying that she's still going to make it, but it's only going to be Christian based, and then other people saying she's not going to make it at all. And just as far as the controversial aspect of this goes, I realize that I am late to the game in making a video about my opinion about this whole thing with Doreen Virtue becoming a born-again Christian. But what I do want to say about it is this. I have zero problem with her doing that. That is her path. That is her prerogative. And more power to her. If she has found something that she connects with more deeply than previous, we all have that right. And we have the right to change our beliefs. We have the right to change our faith. We have the right to evolve into whatever it is that we're evolving into. The thing that rubs me the wrong way is, and I don't know if this is her words or other people's words, but it is the sense or the necessity to renounce everything that happened previously. So I've gone through a lot of changes in my life, and one which I've shared in other videos is that a big part of my spiritual development has been my sobriety. So I have 10 years that I have not drank alcohol, but prior to that, I was a total party maniac. And I drank a lot of alcohol. And do I renounce that time in my life? No. Do I feel that that was maybe when I was making the best life choices? No. But would I go back and erase it all? Absolutely not. Do I judge myself for it? No. Do I think nobody else should ever drink? Absolutely not. It was an important part of my life. It was relevant to me then. It's not now, and that's totally okay. So I don't know if that's really a good metaphor, but you guys know what I mean. We change in our life, and sometimes we aren't doing something that maybe we'd look back and say, that was such a great thing. But it doesn't mean that we have to actually go back and delete that time of our life out. But again, that's still her prerogative. And even in that, that's not what I have the biggest issue with. The thing that upsets me the most about this whole situation is that it has fueled the fire of closed-minded individuals and groups who have a very, very strong anti-New Age agenda, whether it is because they are Christian conservatives or whatever reason. But they have used this as a headline and really put it out there. Former New Age author denounces the movement and now is born again. And it's basically like them going, ha ha, everybody, we told you so. So they're really using this to get a lot of leverage to say, see, it is all bullshit. You shouldn't believe in that stuff. And this stuff is wrong. It is evil. And one of the people who was one of the biggest, most well-known pinnacles of the New Age movement is now agreeing with us and saying that, yes, that is all bad. And again, I don't know if they're putting words in her mouth. I honestly stopped following her. I'm not on her pages anymore. And I have no problem with Christianity. I think Jesus is great. Jesus is a superstar. Am I a Christian? No. Ultimately, I think that the basic tenets of most religions are very similar. And I have no judgments to make against the greater concept of Christianity. And at the same time, people that want to be very, very fundamentalist conservatives and very judgmental, which I think most people can agree is very an anti-Christian way to be. It's just sad that now they have this sort of kind of like billboard attitude of, see, they were wrong and we were right this whole time, and they're using this conversion of virtue as a way to really put that out there. So all that being said, I did feel I better go ahead and get myself an Ascended Masters deck before they're too late, because I knew that the price was going to be going up. And I am going to suggest to you guys, if you want this deck, go get it, because I literally ordered this maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago on Amazon. And at the time, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I want to say I paid like around $28, maybe $30 for it. And this deck probably used to be for sale. I think it's Hay House that publishes it for, I don't know, maybe around like less than $20. And I went on Amazon today. Now, you know, Amazon is not the best place to be buying rare things because people jack the prices up. But the cheapest new version of Ascended Masters was $95. And this is only a few weeks later. And I don't see a receipt in here, but I didn't pay more than $30 for this. And there was people already selling this deck for $1,000. So I don't know, even if you want to get your hands on one just for the investment purposes, go ahead and do it. Now, I could absolutely keep this sealed, hold on to it, sell it in however many years for probably a bunch of money, but I'm not here to do that. I am here to break the seal and actually use this deck and show it to you guys. So maybe I should have bought 2, one for me and one for my retirement. But, you know, I used to collect action figures and I would keep them all in the packaging too. And sometimes you just gotta open things up and live. And so that's what we're gonna do. So these are Doreen Virtue's Ascended Masters Oracle cards. And this deck was made originally in 2007. Back when everything was still allowed. Okay, so on the back it says, by popular demand, Doreen Virtue has created a beautiful deck of cards based off of her best-selling book, Archangels and Ascended Masters. Okay, great. That's the book that I told you. I didn't realize she made this based off of the book. The deck includes 44 gorgeous paintings of male and female cross-cultural deities. And yes, this deck is printed by Hay House. We open it up. We've got the little guidebook. Yep, 2007. And this is an edition that's published in India. It says first published in India in 2015. Okay, so I'm just going to show these to you guys. And this very first one that we see, this is what Oracle decks oftentimes have. It has a concept or an idea, something up at the top. This first one, I've never heard of this guy, have you? This is Paul the Venetian, and this is the card for artistic expression. Isis. Oh, I work with her a lot. As I said, ancient Egyptian, right? So she is for balancing career and home life. Well, yeah, she had to run the kingdom, right? And she also was a mother and a wife of Osiris and mother of Horus, of course. So I can see why it was important for her to balance things. Then we have Yogananda. He's so special. Have you guys ever read Autobiography with a Yogi? It was in Los Angeles that he came and he brought a lot of his philosophy and teachings of, you can see, choose peace. And he created the Self-Realization Fellowship. There's a beautiful, beautiful place out in Malibu that's called the Lake Shrine. If you're ever in LA, make sure and make that a stop. It's gorgeous grounds. There's a man-made lake there. It's got a big windmill and there's beautiful birds, and actually part of Gandhi's ashes are there. It's just the most peaceful oasis in the center of Los Angeles. So there we see Yogananda. I don't know who this guy is either. El Moria. Clear and shield your energy. Amaterasu, come out of the closet. Yeah, come on, Doreen, come back out of the closet. Epona, for working with stones. Pallas Athena, detach from drama. Isn't that a good message? She's got her sword there just ready to cut, like her selenite knife. I have mine always on hand. So, yes, Pallas Athena, help me cut through the bullshit. Oshun. Oshun is an Orisha, and she is the Orisha of the river and also of beauty and love. Drink more water. Okay. Well, I'm having tea today. Merlin, energy healing. Wizard. Osiris. Pan, for fertility. This is kind of a funny, weird card, isn't it? It almost looks more like a photograph than it does like a painting. I don't know. Sometimes the oracle cards, they're like a little creepy and weird to me. I think that image is a little bit weird. And then here we have Krishna. So see how it really is very multicultural? There's Lakshmi. Flow to prosperity. A lot of times you see Lakshmi here. See these gold coins that are dripping out of her hand? So a lot of times you see her sitting on the lotus and there's just gold coins all around her. Now, these same kind of ideas, you see them throughout different cultures. In Roman mythology, she would be corresponding to Fortuna. Here we see Apollo, a sun god. But here's a good example of what I mean of the sometimes cheesiness of New Age things. See this image? I mean, it looks like some guy off the cover of a romance novel. I don't know. It's not exactly what I would think of if I think of Apollo. And the other thing that sometimes bothers me is when these things look a little bit too much like actual people. You know what I'm saying? Like even tarot decks, sometimes that can be really distracting when the faces, they look so much like a person you might see walking down the street. There's Saint Francis, who works with the animals, of course. You see all of the little deer and doves there. Follow your heart. This one's Hina. She's a Polynesian goddess. I haven't heard of her before. Serapis Bey, a very classic ascended master. Go now. What a good message. See how you could use Oracle deck? You just need to pull one card. So sometimes if you're going through something and you're like, I don't know, what should I do? I'm on the fence. Should I, shouldn't you? And then you pulled this guy. Go now. Okay. Straight and to the point, right? Hilarion for health and healing. Kuan Yin, let it go. Bodhisattva of compassion. That looks like a Tibetan deity there. The Buddha. Lady Nada. Whoa. She's looking kind of saucy, isn't she? Lady Nada is the counterpart of Saint Germain. There's Mother Mary. Now this is a beautiful card. I'm not distracted by her having some kind of looking a little too human sort of face. It's much more iconographic, and these are the images that I'm much more drawn to. There's Jesus and all of his animals. Open your heart to love. Yes, let's all do that. That's a good message we can all relate to. And the white buffalo calf woman from the Lakota, yes, who brought so many teachings. So the teaching of the sweat lodge, the teaching of the peace pipe, they come from the white buffalo calf woman, the peace offering. Lu, Parvati. That's a fun one, isn't it? Power of joy, and it gives me joy just to look at it. Here's King Solomon with his Merkaba here and his importance with sacred geometry. The white Tara, the green man, the message retreat into nature. Avolatkisvara. Now, I believe that this is actually a deity that from Avolatkisvara Kuan Yin developed. This is an interesting message. See the other person's point of view. Well, there is a time, isn't there? Kind of interesting with what we're talking about today. Who's this guy? Melchizedek. The spiritual law of attraction. Again, this has got one of those real, like, look you in the eyes and kind of like speak to your soul. I don't know. I just don't resonate with these cards as much. Now, the reality is the cards that when I instantly see them, I don't resonate with right off the bat, oftentimes become the ones that end up being the most powerful teachers and the ones that I do end up resonating with, because I have to like break through my own human judgments and human barriers and weirdnesses. And by breaking through those things and working through those things, that's how you have your mind open. That's how you can actually really achieve something higher. Kutumi, stay focused. There's Moses parting the Red Seas, right? Now, this is Mahakohan Rakosi, and it says teacher. And I do believe Rakosi, that's a secret chief, and I believe this to be the teacher of Paul Foster Case, who the founder of the BOTA. And I do believe that Rakosi is said to be an incarnation of Saint Germain. Here we have Vishnu, Angus, twin flame. Another sort of new age idea that I'm not totally gung-ho about. Well, no, here we have Saint Germain. It looks like he's putting on a stage show in Las Vegas. So again, I'm seeing a little bit of that new age influence that sometimes I kind of think is sort of silly. But I love the message, and I love Saint Germain. I work with him a lot. I just don't picture him with this like popped collar and this sort of like greased hairstyle. He's got the Metatron's cube. He's got the Merkaba right here. Here's my dude, Thoth. Some people pronounce this Thoth, Thoth, Tot, Tot. I've seen a million pronunciations. None of these are, in my research, are better or worse than any other one. It's ancient Egyptian, but this is the Egyptian god of healing, magic, alchemy, the creator of the hieroglyphs. There's Ganesh, the road opener. Look at his message. Oh, thumbs up, right? But at the same time, there's no card, is there? Here's Babaji. And there's Horus. And Horus being a moon god. We see the moon bark there traveling across the sky. And finally, I believe, is this the only archangel that's in this deck? Now, she has archangel decks as well, but we do have an archangel here, Archangel Michael, and the statement, you can do it, again with the sword, right? So I'm kind of surprised. I've never seen a lot of these images. Some of them, they're so common that you'll see them online a lot. You know, people have copied and pasted and posted her images over and over again. I also know that some Virtue decks have that beautiful gold edging. These do not. These also all have Archangel Michael on the back. These are also going to be great for just doing any kind of altar work. If there's a specific kind of Ascended Master that I want to be working with, I can place that in my altar. So I'm really glad that I got these. I think that they're really cool. Like I said, sometimes the ones that are a little intense looking, or even, look at this buff Jesus. I mean, he looks, I guess he was a carpenter, you know, he's got some muscles there. But I gotta go beyond it. Could I draw any better than this? No. So, you know, and some of the images, they just are they're very classic depictions. I guess maybe that's why I feel a little bit more comfortable with them. But I know that I'll be using these. I'm glad I got my hands on them before they were super, super expensive. Good luck to you in finding this deck. You can get this deck still at bookstores. They're not gonna all be sold out. You can probably find them on eBay. Don't pay $1,000 on Amazon. So thanks for taking the time to look through this with me. You know, I think that this idea of Ascended Masters can be very, very useful to people. They are energies that you can call upon. They're energies that you can send a prayer to help work with you in certain things. And I have found them to be very, very useful in my work. And I'd love to hear what you guys' ideas are. If you want to leave comments down below. But check out the Ascended Masters, and also I will link to that book, the Ascended Masters and Archangels book, because I think it's really fantastic as well. Now, if you are interested in taking some more formal classes from me, I now have a few audio classes available online on my website. So you can check that out. I have a couple of lectures on the Hermetic path and the history of Hermetic magic, and on an introduction to Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. As always, if you like the video, please give us a like. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Come join us in the Signal Lamp. Send a request to join that private Facebook group, and follow me on Instagram, Naha99, so that you don't miss out when I do that big crystal giveaway. And thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.